Let's take a look at how to crop and resize images in Photoshop CC. I have my artwork open here, and I'm going to go to the crop tool, which is right here, and click on it. And you can do two things. One is you can draw a box for your crop using the crop tool to crop it. I'm going to go ahead and click undo here. Or you can just start dragging the corner of these corner points here to create your crop. You can drag the image around to reposition it within the crop. And if you want a specific crop size, which you probably are going to want most of the time, you want to change this from ratio to width and height resolution. And for the width, let's say we want this to be 10 inches. I'll do 10 IN, hit enter. I'm going to do 8 IN, enter. Go ahead and say 300 for our resolution. So now we have a crop that is 10 inches by 8 inches, which is a standard frame size. We can go ahead and move our image to go ahead and fill that. These lines that you see here are a rule of thirds grid. These help you compose the piece. You can put areas of interest within these squares or along these lines or at the intersecting points where these lines intersect each other. So for instance, I'm going to frame the head in this square, have the body in this square, and so on. When you're ready to go ahead and crop, click on the checkbox, and that's going to go ahead and crop it. If you're not happy with that crop, you can do Control Z to do an undo, and you can start over and try to do a different crop. Now, once you have this set to 8 by 10, this is always going to stay locked in 8 by 10. So if you want to unlock it, you'll have to go ahead and click the clear button, and that'll clear these settings and put it back to how it was before. But the reason why you'd want to crop at 8 by 10 is because you may want to print this at 8 by 10 and put it in an 8 by 10 frame. If you want to put it in a different frame size, you would want to crop your image to that particular frame size. So generally speaking, you don't want to just crop things at whatever size visually that you want to crop it at. You want to have a specific frame size or specific print size that you choose. Now there's an option here for delete cropped pixels. If you just want to trash all this extra area and you're not worried about saving it, go ahead and leave this checked. However, if you're not sure that you want to throw away the background yet, and you may want to change this crop, go ahead and uncheck that. And it will crop, but all of that area will still actually be there. And if you want to go back and change your crop again, like so, you have access to that full area again. Now what if you want to straighten an image while you crop it? What you want to do is select the crop tool, click on the straighten icon here, and then you want to drag a line along your horizon. You could also do this along a vertical line, and that will go ahead and automatically straighten your image and put up a crop box, and you can go ahead and adjust that crop. So that's cropping, but what if you want to resize an image manually? You'll go to Image, Image Size, and this is going to show you a preview of your image, and you can change this larger or smaller. Now right now I'm looking at it in pixels, so if I want to I can change this from pixels to inches. So let's say I want to make this smaller. Let's change the height to 4 and see what happens. Now it's going to make sure that this is 4 inches and that it stays in proportion because I have this little lock checked. If I uncheck this lock, I can then change the proportion and I can change it to 4 by 6. You can see that's going to squish it though a little bit if I do that. So what you would want to do is go back and crop this at 4 by 6 and not resize it to 4 by 6. So most of the time you're not going to want to stretch things, so you'll want to keep this little lock checked here. So let's say 4 by 5. We can also change the resolution. If we're going to put this on the web, you wouldn't want the resolution to be so high. You would want the resolution to be 72. But for printing, we want to print at 300. Let's go ahead and look at the resampling options here. If you're making it smaller, you want to change it to reduction. If you're making it bigger, you want to change it to enlargement. But most of the time, you're not really going to want to enlarge things because it tends to make them kind of blurry and blocky. If you do, make sure you choose Preserve Details, and you can choose to reduce the noise a little bit, which will make it a little less blocky. I'm going to go ahead and go to Reduction since I'm making it smaller and click OK. And now we've shrunk it down a little bit. Now, what if we want to make the canvas bigger without resizing the image? Let's click on Image, Canvas Size, and if you choose the origin point here, it's going to expand the canvas from the center, from the top, from the bottom, and so on. Let's say from the center. Let's expand the canvas. Let's make it 10 inches wide by 8 inches tall. We'll click OK. And if we zoom out, we'll see that we've expanded the canvas without enlarging the image. Now let's take a look at one more way to crop, And what we can do is we can crop with a mask. So let's say we're going to make like a custom crop here. I'm just going to use the polygonal lasso tool. I'm just going to cut out a random shape here around this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer mask by clicking on the layer mask icon. And what that does is that creates a nice custom crop around the image. And then since this is a mask, we can always just delete that layer mask if we don't want to keep that crop. Now when you create a layer mask, you're going to be in mask mode unless you click out of it. So to click out of it, you click to the left, back onto the little thumbnail for your layer, and then you can go ahead and continue working in Photoshop as you would normally. If you want to work on the mask again, you have to click back on the mask. Let's take a look at how to resize the image a little bit. If you hit Control T on your keyboard, or you go to Edit Free Transform, you'll get the Free Transform mode, and if you drag one of these corner points, you can resize your image. Now, generally speaking, it's best not to really resize your image larger this way because it is going to get a little blurry and a little blocky, but you can resize it a little bit without too much trouble. So that's some different ways to crop and resize your artwork and your images using Photoshop CC. If you found this information helpful, take a quick second to share this video with your friends, like it, and don't forget to click the subscribe button to get updates when I release new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.